This conference will now be recorded.
Any questions on while loop programs? So did you get chance to practice?
No questions, Ram. Sending.
Yeah, okay. Let's get started with the do while loop. Yesterday we have seen a while loop. While loop is basically first you will check the condition, then body of the loop will execute. If condition is true, only the statement inside the while loop body will execute. Then do while is different, little bit different. It is also another loop, but it's different. So the difference between a while and do while is first the body of the loop will execute. At the end, the condition will be checked. That means it checks for the condition after the execution of the body. That's the do while loop. First do, that means execute the statements, then check the condition. So this is also called exit control loop. That is, while loop is an entry control loop, and this is an exit control loop. And the syntax is, you can say, do the statements while condition. This is the do while syntax. And so working of do while loop in Java is first the statement inside the loop execute, then the condition gets evaluated. If the condition returns true, then the control gets transferred to the do block, and it again executes the statement that present in the loop body. If the condition returns false, then control flow directly jumps to out of the loop. It executes the next statement after the loop, whatever is there. So that is what the do while loop. You can get a clarity by understanding the while loop and do while. While loop first you will check the condition, then only statements will execute. But here, at least one statement will be executed before becoming your condition false. So that is the do while loop. So this is what note also I have given here. The do while loop executes the code at least one time, because it checks the condition after execution of the body only. The condition at the end it will check. That's why you can execute at least once your statements before becoming your condition false. And same the in detail I have given initialization, do, curly braces, statements, increment or decrement, curly braces end, while, bracket, condition. So this is the how to do a do while loop. And to understand this diagram, you will get a better idea. The first code inside the loop will execute, then it will come to condition of the loop. If it is true, again do block will execute here. Again comes to condition. If it is a true, again loop will go to do block. So again comes to condition. If condition is false, then exit the loop. So this is the way how it is going to execute loops. And this is first program we are doing 1 to 10, but this is not the real use case. I'll show you bottom. We have a real use cases. How to print 1 to 10 numbers with a do while loop. Int I equal to 1, do system.out.println or print I plus plus while I less than or equal to 10. So it will print all the 1 to 10 numbers. Same you can do 10 to 1 also. Do first statements, then condition, while I greater than or equal to 1. Your initialization here is a 10. So 10 to 1 it will print. But that's the normal simple programs. We'll see real use cases how it will be helpful. Infinite do while loop. If the condition of the loop will never become false, then it's an infinite do while loop. How can we make it? That int I equal to 0 do, so system.out.print I plus plus while I greater than 0. So it's keep going, it's never going to be ended. And the condition, first you are starting with a 0. Next iteration, it will become 1. 1 greater than 0, 2 greater than 0. It will keep going. So that's why it is never going to end. This is the infinite loop, do while infinite loop. And another example is, you can see here, int I equal to 0, do system.out.println I plus plus while true. So you kept the true hard coded here. There is no chance of becoming false here. This is also going to be infinite loop. So these are the how infinite loops. Sometimes you will get all these questions in the maybe some companies will conduct an exam. Such kind of places they will give this code, and what will be the output they will ask you, infinite or what, one time or two times they will ask like that, and you have to give answer infinite. Okay, the real use case, let's see that now.
One question. So in real time, we never use this program, right? We never engage program to run infinite loops, right?
No.
Yeah.
But thing is, in the exams you will get it. Definitely you will get this. So I saw many times in the nowadays, even for experiences, people also in India, they're conducting exams. So I see this kind of programs there. That's why I included in our blog. Okay. So next, this is the real use case. You can assume that I want to add the whatever the value you are entering, and I want to sum all the numbers whatever you are entering until my choice becomes yes or no. So if yes, one more time you will enter the number and you will add that number to the previous sum. If you enter no, then it will stop executing further. But whatever the numbers you added, that number should add to the previous sum value. That's what the program. So this is only achievable with the do while only. It's not possible with while loop. Because you have to first enter the number and sum it. Later, at the end, you will take the condition. You will take the input. You will take the input. Okay, you want to enter one more number, you press yes. And if you don't want to enter one more number, you press N for no. Based on that, the code keep executing for you. How many numbers you want to add, you can play around with this. So that's this scanner class we are going to use here. So let's see. So for int value, you are going to enter the data, and I'm going to store in this value variable. And int sum equal to 0. Initially, I'm assuming that sum is nothing, is stored, and the choice, character choice, I will store in this choice variable either y or n. Y for s means one more number you need to enter, and then you will add. So if you enter no, loop will terminate there itself. Yes, the condition will become false, right? And terminates there itself. And that's the one program we are going to do this. And I'm creating object for scanner class, then do and system.out.println, you enter the integer number and store in this local variable whatever you have declared, and I'm assigning a value for that. Console.next int and sum equal to sum plus value. These are all logic and statements. And then system.out.print, enter y for yes, n for no, and is equal to console.next method. This console means the scanner object. Scanner object, first you will enter, so whatever your entry, that is a string. Next method will return a string. It accepts the string value from the keyboard. From that string, I am getting the first character of that, caret of 0. So this caret is a return type method in the string class. So this is a string. Console.next is a string. String dot caret of 0 means first character. In the yes, y if you enter, first character it will return. If you enter no, first character is n it will return. So that's the caret method, fetches the character at the given index, that is 0 is the index number I have given. 0 means first index and 1 means second index. 2 means third index. Like that index number you can pass to this caret method. This is a predefined method in string class. And you are using that method to fetch the character from this string. And then I'm using this choice variable to check my condition while choice equal to y or choice equal to capital Y. And so if you press no, this will become a false. So there is a chances, right? You can enter lowercase or you can enter uppercase. That's why I'm putting R condition. And display the total. So what is the final sum? How many numbers you added? The final sum you display it here. So this is the one of the program we need to do that. And another one very challenging. Any questions here before going for the next program?
So Ramesh, yeah. So instead of doing do while, we can directly do everything in while only, right?
But where you can, how many numbers you want to add? How can you get a choice? I want to add more numbers. How can you get that choice?
Okay.
So I want to add more numbers. First I entered 5. Again I want one more number. I want to add 6. Again I want to add one more number 9. Again I want to add one more number 15. All these numbers I want to submit. But one by one number, how can you add? If your choice is at the end, if you check the condition only, right? Whether you want or no, you have to put a condition. Then only it is possible. If you check first itself, you cannot enter the value.
Okay, I understand.
After your logic, you can execution is over, then it will sum up. If yes means one more number will add to that previous sum. So that's this one of the example. And another one, very interesting, it's a game kind of thing. You want to guess the number. So I'll generate one random number, okay, and you need to guess that number. What is that random number? We need to guess it. How can we guess that? You need to try multiple, options. You have to try many times. You have to try it out. So how can we guess it? So let's see that program. Guess the number that is randomly generated. We are generating 1 to 100 random number. You need to guess that number. If guess number and random number is same, you guess it correctly. If it is your guess number is more than the entered number, and then it's a you entered more than the you guessed more than the random number. And if you enter less number than random number, so then it has to print for us you guessed so less number than the random number. That's the statements we have to print. Let's see how to print that. So if you first take the number variable to hold the random number, and int guess, two variables we are taking here to hold the number guessed by the user, and create a scanner object and generate the random number outside the do while loop. So random number equal to, so math.random, you know how to generate the random number into 100, but this +1 is not necessary. You can just put math.random only, and 200 if you do, you will get an integer. Typecasting that, you will get the integer number. And so do system.out.print, enter an integer between 1 to 100. So that I'm storing in my guess. You are guessing in 1 to 100. So console.nextInt and store in the guess number. Now you check the condition. That do while loop I'm using if else conditions. Nested if else. If guess number equal to random number, then you can say simply first step itself you guess the correct number. Else if guess number is less than random number, so simply you can say your guess is lower than the number, guess again. Else your guess is higher than the number, guess again. While guess is not equal to random number. If guess is not equal to random number, you keep doing that. And you enter one more time, enter one more time. This you have to repeat until you so entered number matches the random number. So this is the one, so kind of good programming technique. I can guess it properly. So that's the this do while loop programs. Let's do quickly. Any questions before going to the program? Let's do these two programs and then we'll go for the for loop. I'm going to create a do while demo. I'll create a static method because last class we created a non-static methods. Again, I'm writing syntaxes one more time. At least you can remember the syntax of methods. Static void method parenthesis curly braces logic plus statement. Private static void add numbers. Okay, so add numbers. You take the three variables. We need three variables, right? One is the number you want to add, and some variable, and size. What is the size? So I'll declare variables. The first one is int, so number, and this is to store the user input. Int sum equal to 0 to calculate the sum of entered numbers, and char choice. The choice can be, So enter Y or no. So these are the three variables we need. So then you create an object for the scalar class. But you can take up even parameterizer. If you don't want to use a scanner class, you can make those parameterized method if you don't want. But it's just a simple logic improvement. Only these programs will help you. First, so do curly braces. You can just add the number. So number equal to, you can sc dot next int method. But better you write a one print statement. Otherwise, you don't know the prompt will whether it is coming in the console or not. It is difficult to find out. That's why enter number to add. So then, so submit. Sum equal to sum plus number. Okay. So then choose the size. So size equal to sc dot next method. The next method is returns a string type data. The return type methods, these are all string type data. This is a string. I'm getting a string. String dot. I want to get the single character. Caret. See, caret method is a return type method. You can find out here clearly which class this method is there. String class. What is the return type of this method? Caret. Char data type. And you have to give integer as an argument. That is an index. So I'm giving 0 index. That means first character you fix it. Now you got the size also. While so size equal to single y. Okay. So you take up this. Or size equal to capital Y. So then you print sum of all numbers is, so which is the sum variable. So why I declared here is, so I can use in the, not only in the block inside, I can use outside the block also, this sum variable. That's why I declared here in the method inside that. So this is the one method. So let's execute quickly this. How can we call the static method under main method? Directly we can call it. So execute this. Here it will prompt for you and still execution is going on. It will wait for your input. So I'm entering. Okay, here also we should have entered, yeah. So this one, please enter your price. I'll change that. Okay, I'll enter, yes. Enter number, one more number to add. So then it will ask you, yes. Then I will enter 6, then enter no. Here it is exited from there. The second prompt, it is hitting there, but for this, what I can do, I'll write one more print statement here. It is it will ask us clearly. Please enter. Please choose your choice. Yes or no. Okay, so this is how to code it, and you will get a properly, it will ask prompt it. And once you enter no, the execution is completed. Okay, quickly finish other program also, and we can move on. So now the next program is we need to guess your number, right? So static void guess my number, or guess number. Simply you can say guess random number. Guess the random number. Almost similar thing we are doing here, right? Print random number. So declare. So another one is guess number. Okay. These are the two variables we are taking. One is to store the random value. Another one is whatever the number you are entering, that you are storing in the guess number variable. Okay. So let's create object for this. Create object for the scanner class. So now generate the random number. Okay. So random number equal to, math dot random. So multiply by 100. That's it. It will ask you, it will show the integer number we want. So add typecast it, add cast to integer, because this will give you double value. That we are typecasting. You got the random number. Now, so I'll enter my guess number now. Please enter the guess number. Okay, so guess number equal to hc dot next int method. Now I got my guess number, so I got my random number. Now you compare it. If so, random number equal to guess number. So then you can say simply you guessed the correct number, right? You guessed the correct number. So then one more condition, right? One more condition also will check it. So what is that? Other. So if guess number is less than, else you can put else if this guess number is less than random number, then you can say simply your guess is lower than the number. So your guess is lower than the number, guess again. else so you can simply say your guess is higher than the random number. So guess again. Okay, so this is the what we have to just do that again in the do while loop. See, if else conditions, nested if else conditions are coming up. While now finally I'm coming to while guess is guess number is not equal to random number. So this is what I have to do coding for this, and just take it out and do this. I don't want multiple. Sorry, but we guess number, right? So let's execute this. Please enter the guess number. So we have to struggle a little bit. Your guess number is higher than the random number. So we are generating here random number once only. So understand that. So next, it's very high means I'll come down to 15. Lower. So I got some idea now. See, now it is your guess is lower than the random number. That means we entered a very small number, and that means 15 above and 32 below it is there. How to guess it? Let's try it out. 20. So higher. That means it is around 16 or 17. 16. See that 16 is the, you guess it the correct number. So like that, multiple tries you have to do to get it out, to get the correct guess number. Okay, so that's all about do while loop, but very rarely you will use this do while loop. Mostly while loop you will use in the real use cases also, where you have scenarios only first you want to execute the statements, then you have to check condition at the end. Such case only you will use, but very rarely you will use this. But while and for loop is a mostly used one, and we are jumping into now for loop. Any questions before going to the for loop? Okay. So in the while loop, if you don't know there's number of iterations, you just know the condition, then you can use the while loop. Okay, I want to execute several times same code, and iterations is fixed. I know number of iterations, then you can go for a for loop. If a user wants to execute a block of code several times, it means the number of iterations are fixed. Then you should use the for loop. Java provides a concise way of writing the loop structure with this for loop. There are 4 parts are there in the for loop. One is you will initialize, then you will take the condition, then body of the for loop, then increment part. These are the 4. Even in the while also same. While is scattered, all these parts, all these 4 parts are scattered. First initialization, then while condition, then it will come to body. Same for loop also, but structure will be different. Increment and decrement will come after body execution. The increment and decrement will execute. So please catch this point. Even while loop also same process. Here for loop also same, but the structure is like this: for bracket, initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment or decrement. They are all coming in the single line in the while for loop. Only body of the loop is here, the curly braces is here. But how it will execute is, I'm giving one by one. Initialization is the first part of the loop and it happens only one time. Initialization will execute only one time. It marks the start point of the loop. Here you can declare the and initialize the variable. You can use any already initialized variables also. That's the initialization. A local variable you can initialize and assign the value where you want to start. That's the initialization. And condition is the second part of the loop. We must provide or write a condition that must return Boolean value, either true or false. So while writing a condition, always remember your condition expression should return a Boolean value, that is true or false. And if it is true, the loop body, the body of the loop will execute it. And the loop will iterate until your condition met false. That's the condition, how it will be checked. The body of the for loop is, it contains a block of code that executes each time after evaluating the condition true. If condition true means directly jump into the loop body. It won't go to third part. This, once the body execute, then it will go to fourth part, that is increment and decrement part. That's why order also I have given this order: initialization, condition, then body of the loop. Last increment and decrement part will execute. Once your for loop body completely execute, then the cursor will go and do the increment or decrement part calculation. Please catch these points, are very, very important. This is used to update the index value of the variable, where in the initialized place you have used, right? That one. So see that print 1 to 10 numbers with for loop. This is the one for bracket int I equal to 1. So semicolon I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Same logic you apply. If your ascending order means less than or equal to symbol and increment operator, you will get it. See that 1 less than or equal to 10 true. Immediately I will move into the body inside. So I value, it will print 1. Now it will go to this part. After body execution is over, whatever the code you have written inside the for loop body, execution is over, then it will go to I plus plus. Now it will calculate 1 plus 1, that is 2. 1 plus 1. Now you got the updated I value. Now where it will go? Again it will go to condition. 2 less than or equal to 10 true. So comes inside, that value 2 will print. Again it will go to I plus plus. So update the index value. Now I is 2. Now it will update 2 plus 1, that is 3. Now current I value is 3. Again it will go to condition place. 3 less than or equal to 10 true, and comes inside, 3 will print. Again, so it will go to updating the I value. 3 plus 1, 4. 4 less than or equal to 10 true, and comes inside, 4 will print. 4 plus 1 again increment part, 5, and 6 the condition again. 5 less than or equal to 10 true, 5 will print. And 5 plus 1, 6, and 6 less than or equal to 10 true, comes inside the loop body, and 6 will print. Again it will go to increment part. 6 plus 1, 7. 7 less than or equal to 10 true, and it will print. So like this you write at least a few loops, first a few loops, then you will find out the problems if you make any mistake in this condition place. That's why I'm writing till 11. I have written all of them. so I can easily understand how it is executing the loop. If you're not doing that, you're never going to understand the loops. Do first few programs, you do that, then you will get a better idea. Okay, so that's this more explanation I already given here, so no need that. See this. First, how control flow goes here is first I equal to 0, it will come to condition. If condition is true, the system.out.println is executing. Again, see that how it is going. This is the flow diagram. It is going to I++. If I++, again it comes to the condition. If condition is true, again comes inside the loop body. See that loop body and the statements will execute here. Again it goes to increment part. After incrementation of I value, again where is coming? Condition place. If condition is becoming false, it exits. This is the exit of the loop. So if you understand this flow diagram very clearly, the arrow marks are given. That's a meaningful flow diagrams added. So that's it, how to work with a for loops. So these are all programs, same we did. You can do with 10 to 1, and how many times this we did already, and then and this one, another one, how many times this loop will execute. Same you can just practice, and infinite for loop. So for int I equal to 0, I greater than 0, I++. This is the infinite for loop. This condition never becomes false. That's why you will get a infinite loop here. Let me show you that infinite loop with a for, and so for loop. I'm not going to write for loop code. I'm giving exercise for all while programs you write in the for loop. So that will help us to understand. So int I equal to 1, I greater than or equal to 0, or greater than 0, I++. If this will go infinite, the loop will go infinite. Execute it. It's never going to stop it. See that how fast it is. Keep going, keep going. You can see how do you know whether the program is executing or not? You can see here this red mark. That means your code is executing. Your code is executing. So just stop it. By pressing this, you can stop it forcefully. So that's the infinite loops. This one, and that's all about that. And even write the instance method to find the sum of n numbers with the for loop. You try. Same we did. And another simple example I want to give here: log table. Log table is the math class, completely math class we are using here. I want to print so how many numbers you want, log table, logarithm. So math.log of I. So a max value enter, get the max value to display. Max value equal to console.nextInt. That max value I'm using in the for loop. I'm getting the input from here. Otherwise, you can directly take a parameterized method. This one, and so all this enter last six numbers it will print. So logarithmic. So the one program, but so practice all the while loop programs with the for loop. Every program, whatever I have written, you write and send it to me. That's the exercise for you with for loop. Every program what we did with while loop, do the same, convert into for loop format. That's the exercise. Nested for loops. Nested for loops means one loop inside another loop. One for loop inside the other for loop. The inner for loop executes completely after complete execution of the outer for loop. First, outer for loop will execute. If the condition is true, comes inside, inner for loop will start executing until this condition becomes false. All iterations will complete, then it will go to outer for loop. Again, outer for loop, the increment part will happen, update the index value, then checks the condition. If condition is true, comes inside, then inner for loop will execute. And so this is the inner nested for loop structure. And this nested for loop so is used widely while we are working with Excel sheets data. If you want to read, this nested for loops are very helpful for us. And such cases, to understand this, first for loop will check the condition, comes inside, and all these conditions will iterate inner for loop until this condition met false. If condition met false, then it will exit the inner for loop and it will go to outer for loop and for increment and decrement part. If this updated value got it, check the condition again. Once you check the condition, if condition is true, comes inside and inner for loop will repeat several times until this condition becomes false. If this outer for loop condition is false, it doesn't come in, it will exit here. So this is the nested for loops usage. Here is the one, you can see that. I'm just printing so with the nested for loops. For int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. For int j equal to 1, j less than or equal to 3, j plus plus. System.out.print or println you can take. Print or println you can take. I can do that calculation. I'll show you how to do that in the row by row, how to do that. And I and j both, if you want to print, you print it. I plus comma I'm putting between the both the numbers. J. First I value is 1. So 1 less than equal to 3, true, comes inside. Now j value is 1. So j equal to 1 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside. I value 1, j value 1, first iteration. Next iteration, j value will update. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 less than or equal to 3, true, comes inside 1 and 2 will print the second part. Again, so j value will update to 3 and 3 equal to 3, true, comes inside. I value 1, j value 3. So 1, 3 it will print. 1, 2, 1, 1. This is the one. See, for every outer for loop 1 index, all inner for loop values will execute. And then, so now the value will update here. 4 less than or equal to 3, false, jumps out of this inner for loop. It will go to inner for loop will exit and it will go to outer for loop again control. So here again I value will update until this condition met false. It keep iterating. So that's why 2 1 2 2 2 3 3 1 3 2 3 3. It will keep executing all the values. So that's one of the important program. And this I want to print a rectangular pattern. How can you print a rectangular pattern? There are 4 rows and 5 columns I want. That means 4 rows and 5 columns, 5 so rectangle stars I want to print. How can you print that? So this is the only with the nested for loops only it is possible that. See that for int I equal to 1, I less than or equal to max rows, I plus plus. Inner for loop int j equal to 1, j less than or equal to max columns, j plus plus. System.out.print star. First I value 1, I 1 less than or equal to 4, true, comes inside. J equal to 1, j less than or equal to max columns. So that is 1 less than or equal to 5, true, first star will print. Then j value will update and second time 2 less than or equal to 5, true, second star will print. And then j value will update to 3 less than or equal to 5, third star will print. And j value update to 4, 4 less than or equal to 5 true, 4 star will print, and j value will update to 5, 5 equal to 5, fifth star will print, and j value will update to 6, 6 less than or equal to 5 false. It will come out of this inner for loop and it will go to next row. So this is the same row, all 5 stars are printed here. 5 columns, 5 stars are printed and comes into next line, that means next row. Now it will go to outer for loop, I value will update to 2, that means second row, and 2 less than or equal to 4, true comes inside second row also, all 5 stars will print and again goes up to third row, and I will update to 3, 3 less than or equal to 4, and true comes inside, and third row also all 5 stars will print and it will go to again next row, fourth row. I value will update to 4, 4 equal to 4 true comes inside, fourth row also all 5 stars will print, it will go to fifth, and so fifth row 5, the I value now 5 less than or equal to 4, max rows is 4, so false, jump out of the outer for loop, this part. So this is all how you can get this, so this one, right? And any questions here? Even triangle pattern also you can print with this inner for loop.
One question. So for this for loop, can we use any other data type apart from int and char?
I told you beginning itself, you can use only these two.
Yeah, for while.
String also you can use, not only for while. You can use string also, but index is always 0, integer only, index. Only index will be always integer only.
Okay.
Not any other thing. Even arrays will come. Even in arrays also.
Okay.
Any questions? These all programs I'll show you. They're a triangle pattern. We'll see that. Meanwhile, just we'll finish the break and continue also. Continue statement. If a break statement is encountered inside a loop, the loop is immediately terminated. If you find anywhere in the if condition inside or for loop inside, the break will exit the loop entirely. Even we have seen in the switch case. Every case after we have written a break. Once the condition is satisfied, that part case only will execute. It will exit from the switch block. That's a break statement advantage. And if you don't use other code also will execute. We don't want to execute that. So condition is not going to met if you don't use break. Even if you can use in the if statement inside also break. Okay, so this is the break demo. And continue means what? The continue statement is used in a loop control structure. If you want to skip some code and need to jump to the next iteration of the loop, immediately you can for the continue statement. So the break is understand. Break is if the condition is satisfied, it will exit entire loop. But continue is not like that. You want to skip some code, need to jump to next iteration. Then it will keep continuing next iteration onwards. So that is the continue statement when you can use. You want to skip some code and continue, jump on to the next code, and you want to continue. You don't want to skip entire loop, and that's the continue. It will continue further execution, further iterations. It will continue. So that is the this continue where you can use. These all programs we'll do tomorrow. I'll show you that. Okay. So once we do programs on nested for loop and this break and continue, then we'll start the array concept. This for each loop I'll explain there. In the arrays only we'll use this for each loop. Any questions?